Peace. I can't see y'all's comments yet because I'm driving, but I do see something's on the screen. Peace to everybody as you coming in. I know this is, it's early, but had some things on my mind that I wanted to talk about. Something that I've shared with our group. I'm gonna share it with the collective. But I'll start, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get going because I normally like to wait till we get about at least 5 people, but we got to go ahead and go because I'll mess around and be at the gym. So there's a lot of when you look at the Bible, there's a lot of discrepancy over the creation saga that's presented. We go back and forth about, well, there's actually 2 creations and this and that. And that's a lot that we could go into, but I just want to focus in on one specific thing. The fact that it says, let us make man, us. And the fact that what we associate with God many times in the Old Testament appears as Elohim. And Elohim means multiple, or El means God. If we give this, we're using that term as a placeholder. So that means Elohim means multiple or plural gods. Okay? That's a clue. When you go to the Quran, or the Quran, if we want to sound all fancy. When you go to the Quran, the literature speaks of a pluralized divinity. Don't they know that we, us, we, and it naturally gives clue to the fact that it's something more than what the average person would think is being conveyed in these passages. Now, arguably, part of the reference to Elohim is the seven, the five personal and two interpersonal planets that make up the seven. Also the 7 days of the week. So we're talking about the 7 traditional planets in astrology. And I'm being very basic. This is a vehicle conversation, so and I'm on short time, so I'm cutting to the chase, getting to the fat meat, as we say down here in the South. We're seeing that maybe these books are giving clue, okay? And we know that they are, at their root, they are astrological texts, whether the adherents want to accept that or not. We know that. So with that in mind, and we go to the concept of prayer, which many people who start delving into this realm of study would suggest that you're not supposed to pray, you're giving up your energy, you're being fed on, and to each his own. But I want to take that word prayer and I want to analyze that word. Now the word, when you look at its origin and trace it back, it means to entreat. And so we do get a reference to begging that is associated with the word prayer. But what does it mean to beg? Like when a child cries, the child is begging, the child is entreating the parental unit to provide some degree of comfort. So from the aspect of so-called spirituality these days, it is said you're not supposed to pray because you're giving up your energy, you're looking for something outside of yourself to fix you. But that may not be the actual case. The Christ figure itself said you must come as a child in order to enter heaven. And there's something about that, about the child is innocent, and the child is not wrapped up in its ego. And there's something humbling about acknowledging pain. See, this whole term of spiritual bypass, people use it, and I don't know half of these. I don't know what these gaslighting, all these terms come up, but I'm going to imagine that that's may be a form of spiritual bypass to not acknowledge pain because, that is to say that I'm weak. And that makes me less spiritual, which actually what it may be doing is showing that the ego is still very present and active. A child will cry out because there's nothing blocking the natural expression that it feels in the moment. The child will laugh and giggle with some shit is funny. The child will say things inappropriately. You out at the store and like, Daddy, I got a boo-boo. It's like, no, we don't. And we don't say that in public. We train the child, which we're not saying that that's not necessary, but just take at absolute value the honesty of a child's emotions, the honesty of a child's expression. And crying out when there's pain denotes a degree of innocence and humility. Now we know that this I don't know if I should even launched into this conversation because it's got all these different components, And we know we're supposed to be evolving beyond just being the little spiritual child, but we're not supposed to disavow and discard the child. It's supposed to evolve, but that child needs to remain in there. And there's something about acknowledging the pain and crying out. Now that begging triggers us though to feel like I'm lesser than and I'm weak. But ain't it funny how physically the woman is considered to be weaker than the man, but they always seem to outlive us? The woman is more prone to cry, but she seems to outlive men. One thing, when I went to my sister's funeral, my grandmother's funeral, my father's funeral 10 years ago, you know what's funny? I don't cry, okay? But in those situations, I cried so much that my insides felt clean. That's so crazy. I literally sat down and had this epiphany, like, damn, my insides, like I feel like I just gave my organs a bath. I don't know if any of you all can relate to that. And maybe that's part of why women typically outlive men, is because they're not trapped by their ego of saying that this expression makes me weak. You know? And so if you take that and superimpose that over into just general humanity, just the crying out, the acknowledgement, not the caving in, not to allow it to crystallize my reality like, oh, this is it. I'm doomed. No, but just at the moment, if I get bit, like, damn, ouch, that shit hurt. Versus, I feel no pain. Pain does not exist. It is a philosophical quandary. You know, that bullshit. You know? So, prayer, as it's associated with begging, we remember that both of those words actually mean to entreat. And entreating is actually magic. Because guess what? If you've raised children and you've seen how a child can cry, and you don't want to get up and get him and change that diaper, you don't feel like feeding them, and that child is gonna cry and cry. That's some magical shit. They have figured out how to tap into their emotions to get what they want. Maybe the baby is the master of manifestation. No, asshole. No, all these half-dead motherfuckers looking like, okay, I'm looking at people, they're walking by looking at me. I'm going to keep expressing this emotion until you acknowledge me. You know? Now, I just want to get that as a backdrop. And I'm not suggesting that you sit around and just, oh Lord, please. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the concept of prayer. As a concept, the idea of entreating. And what does entreating do? It means to draw something to you, which means you become a magnet. Let me tell you something. When I was a little boy, my grandmother used to sit and drink tea with me. She's the one who introduced me to playing the piano. She introduced me to prayer. She gave me my first Bible verse, Psalm 23. And that 23, that's how I know she was an angel, because the number 5 and 23 have fallen, and 30, these representatives of 5 have followed me throughout my life. Pivotal moments in life. 23, pivotal moment. You know, when I have, these birthdays around these 5s, you know, just all types of stuff. You know, ex-wife birthday is 2-3, February 3rd, and it's pain associated with 23. So she was tapped into something when she gave me Psalm 23 as a little boy. Like the magic of Psalms is a magical book, And when she would pray, as a child, I got chills. As a child. Because I felt her sincerity. You could feel it. Her voice would tremble. And she would get down on her knees. No fanfare. None of this shit about I'm an intercessory prayer. I'm a prayer warrior. She never had none of those titles. But what she had was her sincerity. And Bobby Hemmett said, my sincerity is my credentials. So I'm giving you this side of just this concept of prayer. Like, be careful making fun of people because we're so advanced and we know so much. But my grandmother lived through the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I mean, Jim Crow South, segregation, poverty, being somebody's maid, just a life of just hard work, abuse at the hands of men, abuse by other women. So loneliness, depression, all this stuff. So when she prayed, she really, really was sincere because the world had shit on her. Okay? So, goddamn, I'm all over the place. So this morning, this conversation was triggered by the fact that my daughter, my youngest, was kind of going through it this morning. She's very emotional. She's got the moon square Jupiter, and people with moon square Jupiter, they tend to their emotions just can inflame and expand rapidly. I mean, zero. And she asked me the other day, Daddy, why do I cry so easily? This is a 6-year-old asking me, and I was like, damn. So I started talking to her about some of the aspects in her chart, and just the fact that I can talk to her about it at 6, and she can digest, and she can keep up, and my son, and I was like, this morning I said, let me pull a transit chart just to see what's going on in the sky, real-time chart. And so what's happening is the eclipse fell very close to her Chiron in her chart, 22 of Pisces. We have Saturn is on the other side of her Chiron. We have Neptune on the other side, the opposite side, which is at 28. And Neptune is opposing the sun. And so the sun opposing Neptune is we can be delusional. We can be trapped in an illusion. We can be find ourselves misguided, thinking that something's there and it ain't. And we're like, honey, so how I try to talk her through that is And she says, you got to think positive. When you think positive, positive happens. She'll say that to us. So I had to use it back on her. Baby, you got to use your imagination. And imagine yourself in the space you want to be in today. You don't want to be crying all day, do you? No. Imagine yourself in the happiness that you want today, baby. Gave her a hug, but trying to speak to the same energy but countering the negative way it can be expressed. And there's more stuff than that going on in her chart. She's just very emotional, period. And I told y'all this in a video a while ago. She's showing me my flaws. Because I'm very, very, my moods vacillate. And I'm a paranoid motherfucker. My moon's in the 8th house. I don't trust people, but I do trust who I trust, okay? But moon in Cancer, my mood vacillates. And so she reflects me back to me. She's a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius rising. She reflects me back to me. Make me see myself. So I'm trying to talk her through it. And again, this is all Reader's Digest, version, but it made me come back and think about this book, the Astrological Prayer book. I think it's a must-have. And it's not saying that you are abiding by any religious tenet, but take it at its absolute value of the fact that you are showing awareness that these archetypal energies that are flowing and they impact us. We know they don't compel, but they damn sure impel. They run through us. It is an acknowledgement. And I think these books are trying to give us clues. We, us, they, and we thinking that we are speaking to one force in this book, and it's really giving us astrological and astronomical phenomena. And so when we're going through things, if we can step back and acknowledge the energies that are at play, and then when we go and speak directly to those energies, then we are speaking to our own psyche. And here it'll say Lord. You can replace that. You don't even have to address it as Lord or God. You can just say, give me the ability. Okay. And you can make your own up. Use this as a trigger. You can make your own thing up. So if I see something in here about Sun opposing Neptune, I know it's going to be something about my ego, misguided ego expression. It can be me expressing through in a manner that is not in alignment with reality. It can be me attempting to put things in order and I keep getting hit by chaos. Because all we doing, we speaking to the aspect. So you can form your own. You don't have to repeat you can form your own. This just helps guide your mind. Like, hey, so if you can pray, if you want to call it a prayer, you can set an affirmation. I order that which I can order. I adapt to that which is outside of my ability to immediately put in order. Something like that. Or it's simply, like I said in one of the other videos, there is no chaos. There is only order. There is no chaos. There is only order. Because this Sun in Virgo, like Virgo season, I'm always so compelled to want to get stuff in order, and it's just natural, and here we are with this time that Neptune's been in transiting Pisces for like the last, I don't know, 14 years or so, we find that as Sun gets in Virgo, it meets up with Neptune and Pisces, and it's like, ah, it's a standoff, you know? And all our best efforts to want to sift through and get things right, we feel like there's something fighting against it. There is no chaos, there is only order. So I gotta go and do my workout, but I just wanted to chime in real quick. Let me see what y'all. I mean, now peace to everybody. Pisces moon constantly watches my organ. Somebody, who that first person, Yai. I saw that message. If you're serious and you know, because people be playing on here. I hope that you're not considering that. And hopefully, if you're still watching, go back and watch the video I did yesterday afternoon, using astrological timing to combat depression. So let me go through Peace Golden Timelines. We waiting on her to start coming out the shadows and start teaching. We're gonna throw that out there in the ethers. But she's scared right now. We waiting on her. She's got a amazing mind. Peace to my Gemini partner, Eric Marshall in the house. He is the he is the real-time Jacob of the Bible. This brother's about to have 11. He gonna have 12. I think he wants to be Jacob. Wow, that's my brother though. Shout out Juanita. Juanita is one of our scholars in our group. Peace to you, goddess. This Nandi, Natasha. We got another goddess in the house, high priestess Natasha. Let's see. We got another one, Black Butterfly. This is all the 720 group in the house this morning. This is the Supreme Council. We got Divine in the house. Pisces moon constantly washes my organs. True that. Y'all gotta pardon because let me just take this thing off so I can. Wally Main, peace. OG Gossetti in the house. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Love Star Tarot in the house. Peace to you. Golden Timeline says, I pray every morning. My day feels off when I don't. True indeed. Yeah, it's like you know, it's I think it's more, you know, it's setting the energy around yourself. It's a ritual. It's a ritual. That's all it is. It's a ritual. It's an arrangement, but it's a powerful one because, you know, and I'm not always good at nah, you ain't done. You ain't done. I'm waiting on the call. Like, yeah, man, number 6 on the way. We are waiting for you. Yeah. Divine said we waiting on Golden Timeline. Okay, y'all. Well, I gotta go. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm going to do me some cardio. Know the stars, know yourself. This is Jamal signing out. 720astrology.com. Peace.